Hello, friends, and welcome to Coach Cut's Corner. Streaming right from Michigan's capital city, this podcast is dedicated to helping you better understand the who, the what, and the why of mental performance, personal growth, and Lansing Stars baseball. Coach Cut's Corner, brought to you by Eyewash.
In collaboration with Lansing Community College.
And now here's your host, Stephen Cutter.
Hello and welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in and subscribing. Today, I'm going to talk about self-talk and your belief system. Most of the thoughts in our head are negative, and it's been said that about 70 to 80% of the thoughts that you're having on a daily basis are not in a positive order. With that, if you start saying those things that you're thinking internally and you start verbalizing them so that's audible, you will find that it's about 5 to 7 times more, even more powerful with the negativity. And so understanding this in our program is something that we are constantly working on. We understand that most of our players are coming in and most of the people in our program have the negative thoughts. And so we know that this really impacts performance, and playing a game like baseball where it's extremely challenging, we also understand that it's one of those things that makes a large difference on whether you can or you can't. We often tell ourselves stuff internally that we would never say to anybody else, so we're pretty hard on ourselves. And the best way to get out of this negative self-talk is by building the muscles of positive thoughts. And one of the best ways to do that is by speaking to yourself out loud. And so, as I said earlier, when you're able to speak stuff, if it's negative, it's going to be 5 to 7 times more powerful to you. If it's positive, it's the same thing. And I think sometimes that's hard to be talking to yourself out loud. It's fairly easy to do when you're in your own environment and nobody's around. But when you're around other people, some people might think you're a little bit crazy or nuts. But today in sports, you're definitely seeing it more. You're seeing more athletes talking to themselves at the starting line or before the game starts, and in all these situations, you're starting to see it a little bit more. And the reason why you're seeing it more is because study after study has shown how powerful the words that you're saying out loud are to yourself. And at the end of the day, you will often only be the only person and voice that's telling you that you can do something. A lot of people do not have strong core systems around them speaking affirmations or letting them know they can do something, especially as you get older. As kids are little, they usually have a pretty strong environment of being told that they can do anything. But as we get older, our circles grow smaller and there's less and less people letting you know that most things are possible through a lot of hard work. And we have what I call a success circle here at LCC and for our program, and it's a circle that at the top of the circle is the word belief, and partway through the circle is action, and then on the other side of the circle is results, and then it's just a circle from that results go back up to the belief system. And through this process, you can keep stacking either extremely positive stuff or extremely negative stuff. And so I'll give you one example. So if your belief system is that you're not a very fast runner, you don't take a whole lot of action typically to get yourself to become a faster runner. Therefore, it circles around to results. You don't get great results with running. When you don't get great results with running, it stacks back on top of the belief system, and your belief is not real strong. If you believe that you have the capabilities of being a fast runner, you will likely put more action, or what I like to describe as massive action, into becoming a faster runner. And as that circles around to your results, if you put massive action into anything, you're going to get much better results out of it. When you get much better results out of it, it stacks onto your belief system. And that circle just keeps going. And whether it's negative or positive, it just keeps going in people on a daily basis. And so our perceptions and principles guide us in the selection of what we want, but ultimately our actions determine whether we get there or we don't. And consistency is a superpower, and that's a saying that I've been using for quite a long time. And I believe this is one, perhaps the most important, as it's true. However, people tend to take it to the extreme sometimes. Loving the outcome is okay, and I actually encourage it. You should love the outcome when you care deeply about something. Losing stinks. It hurts. Winning is incredible. It brings joy. However, the outcome should not dictate your work ethic for the next day. And that's what loving the process truly means. When you fall in love with the process, you naturally get more of the desired outcomes. Think of the success circle I just talked about. If the process didn't lead to better outcomes, no one would talk about the process. Consistency is a superpower, and success is ultimately a numbers game. The more that you do, the better the odds. I've seen a lot as we continue speaking about like the belief system, and I see it a lot in our baseball teams and the teams that I've coached over the years. And one of those things is with pitchers. We see a lot of pitchers and that have spent a lot of time in facilities with pitching coaches and a lot of great people, and they're working on the mechanics piece of it and how they move, and then they try to transition that into the game environment, and it's not the same because you're trying to focus on how you move, and in the game you should be trying to focus on how you compete. So like with our pitchers, what we'll do is we clearly define that if they're in practice, they're doing certain things, that's work over the pitching rubber, and you want to focus on that kind of stuff: how you move, how you feel, where your release points are, how much pressure you're putting into your heel. But when you're competing, whether it's in a bullpen, lives, games, or anything else, we want our pitchers not focused over the pitching rubber. We want them focused over home plate, because that's where you're executing. You're competing against a pitcher. It doesn't matter how you're moving. You're just competing. I use a great analogy often with our players, and it's sprinting. And if you were to get on a line and you were racing against somebody else, and one person was thinking about where their arms were going or how fast their feet were going up and down, and the other person was just trying to win, you're going to see that the person that's just trying to compete and win is going to have a lot more success than the person that's trying to think about what their hands are doing or what their knees are doing or what their feet are doing when they're competing. So the belief system and what you're thinking about and what you're audibleizing really affects what you're doing in your daily work or how you're competing. The same thing applies for the hitters. If you're getting in the box and you're thinking about what your hands are doing or what your stride's doing or anything else, when you're trying to compete, you're naturally going to slow down. You're not going to move as well. If you get in the box and you're trying to be a savage, that's going to work out much better for you. And a lot of athletes and people in the business world or anywhere else will say this is kind of in the zone thinking. When things are going really well for athletes, you can ask them and they'll say, I wasn't thinking about much at all. And when things aren't going well for athletes, whether it's slumps, a bunch of missed shots in a row, or anything else, you ask them and they'll say, well, I was thinking about all kinds of stuff and why things weren't working. So there's a lot of confusion in sports and in baseball and in life of like what's the most important to think about. And your belief system by far is right up there near the top, and people with limiting belief systems will project them onto you repeatedly. As long as you're aware of that, the limiting can be limited. You likely will never outrun your belief system. They become self-fulfilling prophecies. So make it a great one through consistency, not the outcomes. My final thoughts are energy, self-talk, ego. We all process these things differently. And our eyes are part of our sensory system, and 50% of our brain is linked with one thing, vision. Training vision and sensory systems is a low-hanging fruit. Visual focus leads to mental focus. The right brain, it's been said, processes information 11 million times versus the left brain at 40. Stay in the right brain thinking. Your belief system will absolutely impact your life, and it's something that you can work on a daily basis to make it stronger. And if you can make it stronger, you will find that you'll have more success. If you're tired in the morning, you can say things out loud. Before you go to bed at night, audibilize one statement, two statements, three statements, whatever it might be. Make those the last words that you verbally say out loud, and your brain will be working while you're sleeping. And you start stacking these bricks, you'll find that more and more positive things are coming into your mind. And when it's a morning you get up and you've been tired, you can say things like, I'm a savage, I can do this, this is going to be a great morning. And just by saying those things out loud, it makes it that much more powerful. And as I said earlier, you're not going to have a lot of people around there coaching you on and encouraging you. So you need to do it with yourself, and it starts with you. And if you can make these changes, you will see significant changes and allow you to have more success in your life. Make winning in life your habit, not your goal. Excellence is a practice, not a prize. Build great habits and practices that serve you, so you can serve others. Enjoy the small moments in life as they go by in a blink of an eye. Until next time, thank you to all of our listeners. We're all playing a game we can't win, so why not play it to the utmost? Go all in and go Stars. Coach Cut's Corner is recorded live in the WLNZ studios. Engineering and production assistance are provided by Dedalia and Lowry. Thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed today's podcast, please share it and follow us on all the platforms of social media. You can find more about our program at lccstars.com, and donations to our baseball program can be made at the same site. See you next time.